What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another video. And today, as you read in the title, I'm going to be talking about the three main points and the things that I struggled with in the very early stages of starting this business and doing entrepreneurship and choosing that path. And then also later on, some of the things that I still struggle with to date, and that'll be the last point that I go over because I don't think it's ever something that I'll ever, essentially stop struggling with. But let's get into this video and go over point number one. The hardest part about starting a business is actually just closing that first deal, getting that first sale, and getting that first, client. That is the hardest part because you're trying to figure everything out. You're trying to develop your offer, you're trying to do the outreach and actually booking the calls. Then you're taking the sales calls and you're not even good at sales yet because you haven't taken any, you got no repetition, and everything's just very, very difficult. Everything's very defeating. There's not a lot of motivation in the beginning, and you're just relying strictly on discipline to try and actually get that first quick win. But once you actually get that first close, then you strike off that limiting belief that, holy shit, this is actually possible. I remember it took me 3.5 months to get my first deal. It was $1,100 a month for a 3-month agreement, and I was absolutely fired up. It's like the last 3.5 months were completely disregarded as far as all the work that I actually put in. It felt like I started on a completely new slate. I was extremely motivated once again. I was like, holy shit, this is actually possible. I can do this. This will work. But up until then, it was an absolute grind. Literally nothing was working. You're just booking some calls, and that motivates you for a bit, but not really, because then you take the calls and you suck. So actually closing that first deal is very difficult in the early stages. If you've closed your first deal, another thing is that means that you actually started. You actually did something. You started figuring shit out. You started building something. You started doing outreach. You started building a program. Whatever it looks like, it means you're better than 99% of people because you actually started to work towards something, which is the business that you're envisioning and that you're trying to create. And that's what makes getting the first client that much harder, is because 99% of people just don't start in general. They do something for a bit and they're like, oh, I don't think this is going to work, or nothing's going to happen here. So that's pain point number one in the early stages, just getting your first client. Pain point number two is comparison. The constant comparison and self-doubt of, what am I doing? Is this actually gonna work? Should I still be doing this? Maybe you're 6 months in and you still, are making like $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month maybe, and your friends now, you gotta remember, because you're maybe you left school and you didn't go to university in the first place, or you dropped out to actually try and, pursue this dream full time and take the risk, or maybe you're just working part-time because you're also doing the business part-time, or maybe you're not working at all because you're just trying to fully focus on the business. So now you've taken some actual risk, and then you start to see your friends finish another year university, they're that much closer to graduating now and actually pursuing and doing their career jobs, while you feel like you're just doing nothing to a certain extent. So in the early stages, you battle the comparison of just self-doubt. You're doubting yourself 24/7. Are you making the right decisions? Are you just setting yourself back that much more? Is this even going to work? Is this going to play out, actually long term? Can I even do this? And it doesn't help that, everyone around you, your friends and everyone, they're in university, they're partying, they're drinking, they're going to get their degree, they're going to come out, they're going to get a job, they're going to make, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a year. And you don't even know if what you're doing at the end of the day is really going to even work. It's a very, very tough battle in the beginning, because obviously it's just self-explanatory. It's a very tough thing to go through, and you got no one to talk about it to for the most part. You're just sitting there at your desk dealing with it yourself. But you have to realize is that that's exactly what makes the victory so sweet, is the fact that this is difficult. Yes, it is a massive risk. It's a massive risk, and it's not at the end of the day, because most likely you don't have any fixed expenses. You're living at home. You're not paying for groceries. You don't have a mortgage. You don't have a car. That's when you're realistically supposed to do it. For me, at the end of the day, it was, okay, worst case scenario, what? You have to go back to school, finish your degree, and you get it, 3-4 years later. Okay, big whoop, you're set back a little bit. Just be smart with your money, invest, do your thing, invest in real estate, and you're going to be fine. But that's pain point number two. Pain point number three, and something I still deal with, is the mental battle with yourself. For the most part in this space, you have no one to talk to, and you have very, very unrelatable problems. no matter what level you're at as far as from an income perspective, whether you're doing 5K a month, 10, 20, 50K, it doesn't really matter. There's still unrelatable problems because no one's running their own business. No one's dealing with, a bunch of clients or trying to build a team and whatnot. So it's not like you can go with your buddies when they're drinking beers, watching the game and talk about, oh, my churn rate this, or, this client had to refund this person, or, this team member did that. Everything you talk to them about is just like, okay, there's nothing you can talk about that's going to be relatable to them and their situations. And on top of that, it's also just from the mindset and business perspective as it is. When you're having problems about, I don't know if this is going to work, or if I'm going to do this, or, should I pursue this vertical, or you have no one to talk to about that stuff because no one's doing the same thing that you are for the most part. And at the end of the day, you just have to know your why from the very beginning, because that's what's going to keep you motivated, disciplined in the space as it is. If your why is because you want the fucking presidential Date 8 Rolex on your wrist, and that's really the pedestal for you, and you want that materialistic item, well, guess what? Eventually, if you're a good entrepreneur and business owner, you're going to get that. You're going to make enough money to be able to afford a Rolex, and then you're going to buy it, and you're going to be lost. You're going to have zero motivation, zero reason to be disciplined. You're going to feel like your peak. You already made it, you already did it, and that's it. All downhill from there. Because once you feel like you've done it, then you become very laxed. You become very lax and comfortable in the current situation that you're in. And I forget who said this, but running a business is like your actual body, your heartbeat, essentially. If your heartbeat stops, well, obviously your body shuts down. If you become stagnant as a human and you're just a couch potato doing nothing every day, eventually you slowly wear and tear, break down, get fat, and, die. Take this with a grain of salt, but business is the same. What I'm getting at is that if you're not consistently working on the business, if you're not consistently working out, eating good, you're not going to improve, you're not going to look better, you're not going to do all these things. If you're not improving the business, new systems, being innovative, and constantly acting like you're at 0K per month, then you become stagnant, wear and tear, and shit just breaks down, falls apart. So I don't even know what real tangent I was going on there, but essentially that's what makes the victory so sweet, is that all this shit is hard in general as it is. Business is hard, entrepreneurship's hard. If it was easy, everyone would do it, and the victory wouldn't be sweet because fucking everyone would be accomplishing these goals. But these videos overall are hard to film, and it's hard to talk about this stuff because it's kind of weird, honestly. But hopefully this was relatable for some of you guys. If you liked it, comment, like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Fuck. That's a hard video to talk about. It's weird.